Hello and welcome to Love at Lunch. My name is Leona Devin and I am excited to be here because today we're talking about the emotion of joy. My book just came out today, Finding Your Joy Spot, helping you find joy in unexpected places. Joy is not here in every single solitary moment, but there is more joy than we know about. We just need to know how to find those spots. And this book provides research-backed framework with tools and techniques, and of course with some stories and some fun to help you do just that. So today we're going to talk about the 5 ways that we can experience more joy even today over lunch. And thank you for joining me a half an hour early. So the very first thing that we want to think about if we want to create more space for joy is, what is it that makes us feel grounded? So I hardly slept last night, not the best, and I don't feel very grounded today. So we want to think about those places in our lives that make us feel grounded. So good relationships, good food, nurturing our bodies, if meditation is your thing, or prayer, or if you know me, I'm a fanatical journaler. Those are those things, and exercise that help us feel grounded. So we really want to know what we can do that helps to reduce our stress and helps us just feel nice and even keeled. Once we're feeling a little grounded, and even if we're not feeling grounded, it is very important to have the next G of joy, which is being genuine, being ourselves. Do you know what your values are? Do you know how you live those out? How do they define your behaviors and your goals and aspirations? Without knowing who we are at our core, there's not as much joy as could be possible. So in my book, we have a chapter on knowing what our values are, defining what that value means to us, and what behaviors they enlist out of us. And then we know whether or not we're in line with our values. Really, really important. Who we are and what matters to us is one of the birthplaces of joy. In the book, I talk about not really thinking about joy until I started to uncover with my clients what really mattered to them. And then every time they got closer to their truth, they got this spark of joy. And it was this joy spot that started to light the way. It created more initiative on their end, more innovation, more creativity, more energy, all the things. So knowing who you are and being genuine is a really important part of joy. Without that, there's not a lot of joy. You just get all wishy-washy. Generosity. I know a lot of generous people, and I love those people. I'll tell you what. It's very important that we are, number one, start with the generosity with ourselves so that we don't become resentful and bitter and overwhelmed with giving back to other people. We want to make sure that we are being generous with ourselves first. So with self-compassion, talking to ourselves like we would a friend, realizing that we're not the only ones that struggle. We all screw up. We all have our moments and we are not alone. And being mindful of the feelings that we have when we might be being hard on ourselves. So, and the next component that's coming out in science around self-compassion is standing up for yourself. So internally thinking, yeah, this is really hard, but I also know it's right for me, and standing up and being true to yourself and what matters. Then being generous to others. Altruism is a wise form of selfishness. So anything we can do that feels like it's in line with our values, feel like it's grounded in the truth of who we are in order to give back is really important. So generosity ends up bringing us joy as long as it's in line with being grounded and being true to ourselves and to our values. Our brains are hardwired to think negatively. It keeps us from being eaten by saber-toothed tigers. And this is important, my friends, although there are no saber-toothed tigers. But our brains are made up from an evolutionary standpoint to look for danger, to look for negative things before it starts to absorb positive things. So we need to change that up a little bit. And that's doesn't mean that we're like off the fairies and we think everything's great when it's not great. But we want to make our brain as positive as possible because it keeps the strategic part of our brain online and allows us to be innovative, creative, energized, and healthier. So we need to find some way that we can choose optimism We can choose to be grateful. When we're hijacked by something, even if it's really tough, one of the ways that we can become grounded is by choosing to be grateful for something in this moment. I am personally grateful to be here right now, to be healthy, to be upright. I think I'm upright. Unless I'm filming sideways, then please pop something in the chat. Those things matter. So being grateful, having a gratitude practice matters. Choosing to write down what you're grateful for or what went well that day and why. We talk about that in one of the chapters of the book. Helps to transform your brain and helps it to look for the positives. And that doesn't mean that we Pollyanna or, put a coat of icing over crappy things in our life, but it does mean that we're more innovative and we can think more clearly when things are hard. So considering having a gratitude practice of some type, really helpful. And then the next part is grace. Grace is really understanding what your beliefs are. And even if it's just a saying that you have, today I woke up half dead and I thought one of my sayings is, Leona, you will have exactly what you need when you need it. I wish the saying was you will have everything you need way before you need it. And you feel so eager and confident before it happens. That is not the case. And that's not true. Another one of my sayings is everything is figure outable. Everything. So knowing what you believe, knowing what holds you fast when things are out of your control is really, really helpful. Choosing what your mindset is part of that grace as well. Again, we can't control everything, but choosing what our mindset is it a fixed mindset or is it a open mindset? And choosing to step into that creates more grace and ease. And then that last piece is stepping into those different resilience tools that helps hold us together when everything feels like it's falling apart. So those are the 5 G's of joy that will transform how you see the world, that will create more joy, give you more opportunity to capture joy spots and to gobble them up and to savor them when we experience them. And these are all things that you would find in my book, the book, Finding Your Joy Spot, helping you find joy in unexpected places. Because my experience has been the closer we get to what matters to us and our truth, and the more we practice the science-based tools that enrich our lives, the more joy we will experience and the more resilience it'll bolster. So the next time you're in a stormy place, you're not going to be bowled over by the wind and the rain. You may have messy hair, but you will know how to stand true to yourself and even find some joy spots in that tough hurricane. So lots of love to you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. And thank you for all of you joining me. Thank you for all your love and support. I see my cover designer on here, Fetching Finn. She is the most amazing, and she is what makes all things beautiful. So thank you for those who are on this joy journey with me, have got a copy, give a copy to a friend. It means the absolute world to me. I want to spread joy throughout the world to make the world a better and more positive place. All the love to you. Have a wonderful Monday.